Money and art. Fringe versus free fringe. Michael, you've been running this place with little or no budget for the past 35 years, am I correct?
It's correct, yes.
So what's your opinion on art and money? Do the two need each other? Does art need money?
Well, it's very strange. It's very strange that people would say there's an either or, like
Is there
art,
something in between?
theatre always costs money. Art always costs money. It's not possible actually to do theatre and art without
a free
money.
ride.
No, not really. I mean, no. Like the lamps cost money. Like, they're complaining already. It's a free fringe festival. No one's paying for the lamps tonight. No, for heaven's sake, we shouldn't just make it as specific in art and money. But I think it's very interesting that we're doing this in English tonight as well. So that's also interesting. I think I support the Free Fringe Festival totally, because I think that it's an initiative that brings international artists together who wouldn't normally have a place to perform. And I'm going to be careful what I say now. I mustn't say anything too provocative.
No, be provocative.
Okay. Well, okay. Okay. Well, look, it's quite serious. The truth is that I'm going to put it out to the audience. You can also agree or you disagree. But the truth is that all of Europe, every city, is suffering from the fact that the big boys in the cities, and that's probably the Rijksmuseum and the Toneel of Amsterdam and the Stedelijk and the this group of that group, take 95% of the budget that goes to welfare or welzijn or to art and culture, and the small satellite locations like this kind of place have to fight with, all over the city there's about 12 to 15 tremendous locations that have big audiences, and they bring on very interesting culture with almost minimal art budget. They do it by having big audiences, and they sell a lot of tickets, and they sell a lot of beer, and they rent the place. That's the only way to get by. But in fact, if you're going to make theatre sometimes, you've got to buy costumes and decors, the transport costs, the actors need to eat, the people come from Haarlem, or they buy a ticket. Theatre, art doesn't not cost money, art costs money. Yeah. And I'm going to say that in truth, after 35 years of work in this country, I've come to the conclusion that you have a class system. The Dutch pride themselves on not having a class, that they are classless. But you know, my father was an Italian Jew, and my mother was Irish. Yeah, and they lived in England for years after the Second World War as second-class citizens. They didn't care. They were brilliant, and they did everything perfectly. But the truth is that the international artists in Amsterdam and in major cities, if they're not from the indigenous culture, in this case the Dutch, but if we were in Germany, it would be the same with the Germans, or in Greece, it would be the Greek. The international artists are actually second-class artists.
Well, let's ask an international artist. Sam, you originate from Australia, Irish ancestry.
Yeah.
Are you a second-class artist here, regarded as one here in Holland?
Yeah, I don't need to feed a beast like you do with this theatre. I make art out of what I can find on the street, out of what I can beg, borrow, steal. In a way, I'm a folk artist, I think, because...
What's the last thing you stole? my heart! You win the gevulde koek.
But draw a veil over that, okay,
Yes.
Tom? I forget what I was going to say now.
You beg, borrow, steal.
What was the last thing you stole?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go on making art. I think what I need to make art, it's a bit like, well, this festival has a lot of different animals in its menagerie. There's people taking part who come from all kinds of different situations, so they're not all the same kind of animal. Some people are highly professional artists who want to showcase, and because this showcase they can do it for free, they don't have to pay to play. they can go and perform in a venue, and they don't have to pay, and the venues are prepared to give themselves over to sell some beer or to broaden their audiences for the rest of the year or whatever. It's all very complicated. Some artists just want to have a laugh, or they work for free all year because they're anarchists. Or there's different stories. There's all sorts of different animals in the menagerie. So, what was the question again?
Do you feel like a second? Do you feel treated like a second?
No, I don't. I don't feel like a second-class system.
But
Because fortunately, there's a little patch of stinging nettles where my butterflies can fly around, and I can get by. And what we need is just some crumbs off the table. Some more crumbs would be nice.
Does commerce weed out little patches of stinging nettles where art
It
can
does.
flourish freely? I'm going to go to Yoram now, because you're macroeconomics. Maybe I'm going to say something very stupid, but macroeconomics, is it without the big old boys network and shitloads of money? Economics without that? Or is it something totally different?
Economics is economics with and without the old and young boys network. So I don't think it does matter.
And has economics a grip on art? Does it influence
I would
art?
turn it around in a way. Art has a grip on economics, to a larger extent than, let's say, economics on art. Because,
explain, yeah.
because in fact, for two reasons. One is that economics matters only insofar people earn money, to most of artists. But as you rightly pointed out, quite a lot of things happen without big money. That's one. That's one reason. The second reason why economics depends more on art than another way around is that economics largely depends on the people who are in the forefront of something.
Avant-garde?
Call it avant-garde. And this essentially avant-garde is, let's say, in the area of science or in the area of arts. So the science is more about ratio, and art is more about aesthetics, emotion, and so on. And in fact, quite a lot of activities that we consider normal and part of daily life come due to this kind of forefronts. Can I give example of the first one? How money and avant-garde relates to each other. Some years ago, when I was going to Fringe in Edinburgh, I incidentally passed Richmond. Do anybody know about Richmond? Have anybody been in Richmond, UK?
Yeah.
Well, Richmond has the oldest theatre. It's a Shakespearean theatre, 16 something. That's the only theatre with Shakespeare that still exists, that Shakespeare played, right? Now you must imagine a building something like this Badhuis, roughly, but about 3 times higher, and no cafe. And the people, there were 4 floors. Each floor was a class. The lowest class were downstairs. The highest class were upstairs. Roughly 500 people went into this theater, and the play was roughly about 6-7 hours. Of course, no toilets, no outdoor, no entrance, and everybody somehow had fun there, and masses were going without subsidy. Okay, I wouldn't like to be downstairs, but okay.
Not without any toilets.
Not without any toilets. And the beer was fluid. And that is essentially what's going on until right now. if one looks, let's say statistically, two-thirds, roughly between two-thirds and three-quarters of the income is beer or drinks, and between one-quarter to one-third is for artists, nearly everything. Subsidized or not subsidized. So that is where the money comes from, not mainly from subsidy. I think Mike is right. And the challenge is to find a good balance between drinking and art.
Yeah.
Does beer pay for your match?
Well, it doesn't pay. Look, let's be honest. We're lucky. But we've become good survivors. Yeah. We've been lucky. We've been working hard.
If you're a good survivor,
Yeah.
you're skilled. That's something.
No, we just work very hard.
Yeah.
It's about hard work. But they just wanted to set up beer. You know, of course, Brecht. All his plays were financed by the beer brewery in Augsburg. You know, Dreigroschenoper and all his first plays before the Nazis came and wiped out half his company, and he had to run away. Before he had to run away, were all financed by the beer company.
Well, the patrons were also the church was a big patron of the arts, or
Also.
rich families, or it's a different patron. Maybe
Right.
now the patron is, but then again, selling the beer is a bit like the mountebanks getting up and selling, using theatre to sell medicines and stuff. Is the art being used to sell beer actually,
You got a question also like
or is it the other way around?
You know,
It's quite
they
entangled,
talk in
isn't it?
Shakespeare about rogues and vagabonds, don't they? Actors and theatre people are rogues and vagabonds. That's because in the past and in other cultures, if you were an actress and you were an actor, you were a whore. For many centuries, it's only the gentrification of theatre
I think.
in the 20th century. Yeah.
I think art is intrinsically subversive in itself, whether or not it's giving a subversive message overtly. I think it is subversive because it turns things on its head and it makes other things important other than putting food on the table and keeping the lamps burning. It's a moment of escape from that, and that in itself is intrinsically subversive. But I think we need it. We need that.
Excuse me.
Yes.
The question at hand is, why is this the free Fringe Festival? Yeah? What is the Fringe Festival?
I think it's
We
very
have a Fringe Festival now and a free Fringe Festival. I
Right.
put that to you. Is this something different than the Fringe Festival?
Is this different to the Fringe Festival?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Because
How?
the Fringe Festival is run by a massive international organisation.
Mm-hmm.
It's artistically it's led by the interests of corporate sponsors, not by what the artists
So
want
who's
to do.
responsible for getting acts into this festival?
Into
This festival?
This festival.
Yeah.
Just networking.
But no, networking is because, on the other hand, the Fringe Festival put out an announcement ages ago
Yeah.
that they were going to set up a platform where artists can perform for free and ask for money, donations from the audience. So when I see Free Fringe Festival, I'm saying this is not the Fringe Festival.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
not.
So in that respect, you're using that identity.
We're reclaiming the identity of Fringe because we're saying that Fringe is fringe. It's grassroots. It's unsubsidized. That's a different point about how the no money
But
thing
who
is another.
qualifies? I mean, when I put in an
We want
application, and
artistic
excuse me, let me
freedom.
finish. When I put in an application
Yeah,
to be a part of this,
yeah.
I got all these other situations for them to determine who can play for free
What?
and where. Yeah. So this was under the auspice of the Fringe Festival. Are you with the Fringe Festival?
No.
No. Okay, but this was under the thing of the Fringe Festival to create a platform.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
no.
It's completely separate.
So-
Fringe Festival. They've noticed. Oh, these other people are using the term fringe,
right.
and
You've got to tell the truth.
and so now we're going to
Can I ask what matters?
With that as well.
What is-
They're trying to be the cowboys and the Indians.
Yeah, where you
paying?
Is
Where's the pay?
Is there some sort
What's
of
the problem?
We must tell the truth. We must tell the truth. Frankie,
I'm dealing with the
Yeah.
Fringe Festival. I say this. I've been in the Fringe
Frank,
Festival
sorry.
30 years ago.
Frank,
So
Frank,
at the beginning of the
Frank,
Fringe
I want to
Festival-
park it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I want to park it.
Yeah.
Michael, you wanted to react.
Well, I think it's fair to say, like, this is Frank Shepherd also, and I performed with him in Edinburgh 25 years ago, and so we do know, and also with other people as well. So Frank also has a very strong opinion, because he's a performer, and and also because, if I may say, he's an Afro-American who also has seen the hopeless American situation.
But that has
That has nothing to do with it right now, but let me
That
finish,
has
Frank.
nothing to do
Frank,
with-
let me finish.
He-
The Fringe, shut up.
Hold on, let me finish.
Because you never get a word in with Frank. You never get a word in.
Oh, Michael!
African American has nothing to do with art.
Oh, let's get back to the topic.
The Fringe, the Fringe Festival was an opportunist in Amsterdam. Was an opportunist idea by the major theatres on the Leidseplein, who thought the other countries in the world have great success with Fringe festivals. So the big theatre impresarios in the Leidseplein said, let's create a Fringe festival in Amsterdam. So they raised a couple of €100,000 in subsidy, and they got some students together, they gave them the money, and they said, organise Fringe festival. The complete diametrically opposite idea to what a Fringe festival is in Edinburgh
That's right.
is that there, the artists, me and Frank, we rent a theatre and we sell the tickets and we hope the television will come, the newspapers, and we will make a success that we might get more work, paid work, as performers. And the people, all the money in the Edinburgh Fringe goes to the actors and to the theatres. In Amsterdam, all of the subsidised money goes to the administrators and the clerics.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that, and I better get on my train to the Gulag now. So, goodbye. Thank you.
Michael, come back!
Okay, sorry.
Because I've got a burning question.
A burning
So you'd love TV to come around, right?
Who would I like?
TV, television. You like television?
Well, I tell you, I think this free Fringe festival organised by Sam and by Martin and for the wonderful people who are doing this in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I've known it's going on for 5 or 6 years, but because we're so busy running a theatre, you sometimes can't get out of your own location to see other things. And when I finally met Sam and Martin, I thought, this is just fantastic. We would like to support it, because all the artists, it's only an artists' festival.
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask you a very strange and weird question. That's what I'm here for. So we got these motivated, highly motivated, idealistic people, and they want a little feel-full stinging necklace, and it's going to be a success. I mean, the free Fringe is
Free
growing.
Fringe is a success.
It is a success.
Yeah.
So economically, economically,
Yes.
is there a point where a success will be a sellout? So they
course.
will sell their soap, of course.
Of course.
Love it.
If one looks, for example, at maybe examples are most convenient. If one looks, let's say, at Ouro Festival, okay, that's in the Netherlands. Most of you know, it started like 20 years ago. Joop Mulder, he started. He was the cafe owner on Terschelling. And he started with a few actors, in fact, who in a very similar way like Fringe. The only difference was that, again, 2/3, 1/3 rule. 2/3 were for Joop, for beer, and 1/3 was for artists. It's still like that.
No,
did
no. Now it costs
Slowly,
a lot
I
of
did
money to go.
Oh,
to
that's
no,
all
no.
right, let the man speak.
Don't tell me no.
He's a professor, you don't tell him.
First find your
No,
papers
but you
and
said
then
it's the same, it
stop.
isn't that.
Okay? It's still like that. 2/3, 1/3. That's more or less the rule of law in arts nearly everywhere. That's why. And that's also in Ouro Festival, and it's also equal into the Great White Open, and maybe very big festivals deviate from that rule 1/3, 2/3. Okay, but these are exceptions.
Is Burning Man an example of that?
I don't know Burning Man. Okay, I cannot say. But let's say some others I do know. So this is, let's say, this is roughly how it goes also in Europe. Meanwhile, There are about 40 to 50,000 people coming to Ural every year, and it started with a few dozen. So there is a development and there are possibilities of change. If one looks even at the very big projects, at a very big festival. So for example, you have every year 2 cities in Europe have, they call it European Capital of Culture. Okay? In a few years, it will be Malta and Leeuwarden. I worked a bit for Leeuwarden. If one looks at the very first one, they were very small. There were maybe a few thousand people from all over Europe coming. If one looks now, there are about 200, 300,000 people coming to such a capital, to each capital. Again, the rule of law is 1/3, 2/3, and they are cost covered, and they pay pretty well to the artists. And of course, some are more bizarre, and some are more fringe, and some are organized very much by clerics, and some are organized very much by, let's say, artists, and it depends on how it's done. So it is possible, and it depends very much how it is organized. What is important in my view, let's say, based on some experience and some data on that, is to find like a sufficient number of artists to organize the festival, okay? Because once the festival, so to say, is there, the money can be generated. Individual artists rarely survive well, okay? So, let's say organization, somehow self-organization of artists is quite essential. And how to do it, well, one can discuss that, but that is quite essential. And Free Fringe can be an example.
Right.
But it's not really necessary to create art. That's why
I want to say something about Ural Festival and also a lot of fringe festivals. They're farming the artists. They're making money out of the artists' wish to show their work. If you go to Ural Festival, maybe it's 2/3 to the festival and 1/3 to the artist. Okay, but then they have this captive audience where they charge the artists for text, they charge the artists for publicity, they charge them for food, and then anything they've made is then reabsorbed back into the festival. If you go to Dublin Fringe Festival, you have to pay thousands of euros to put something on in some broom closet in Bewley's Cafe.
That's corruption.
Yes, it is corruption. No, and I think as well you should say that perhaps the idea of fringe is something that is like growth. You know, you have a good tree, and one year it produces apples. Next year, it's not good. And if you don't prune the tree, it will die. Yeah? I think the fringe, because I also played, actually, Yoram, I played at the, 25 years ago, I played at the Ural Festival when it was beginning, and it was fantastic. And again, it cost almost nothing to see any of the performances, and it was very, very creative. Dog Troop was there, you know, the best companies from the whole world were there, playing Festival of Fools.
They were the first, coming from the milk bag.
Well, right, you know, right. The Milk Bag did a lot of support for artists, for international artists. But yeah, what I'm trying to say though is that I think it's now the time for the Free Fringe. The Free Fringe is at their time. They have now a right. They have good artists, and I think it would be clever if we could put them together, help them to get it together, so we could raise some money, so that we could maybe one day pay for the brooches from the artists, and maybe if they got rice costin from Haarlem, they might be able to get the money back.
I see that Sam is she started
Sorry.
to smile like Mona Lisa. So Sam,
What?
what's going on in your head?
I personally, I don't know what's going to. We never really had a strong concept for what the Free Fringe was going to be. We just wanted to do it. Now, I don't. In some ways, it being free protects it from a lot of things. Because if no one is being paid, if the people behind the bar, if the people cleaning the toilet, if the techs, if the artists are not being paid, if everything,
You're not going to get paid tonight, Buster.
Are you?
No.
Then that means everyone is only doing it because they want to, and that gives a different atmosphere. That is idealistic, and we do need to make money, but that's sort of for another day. Well, this festival is free because that you know.
But I think you're free
it's
also
the
because you're
beauty.
different from the Fringe Festival. And I think the idea of the Fringe Festival also in Amsterdam when it first started, it was quite free and it was a lot of good things, but it quickly got corrupt. Yeah, now I think that if you've got good people, they will hold the corruption back because they care about the art.
Yoram, is there some sort
I
of
don't think he will. I think
is there
all
some
of
sort
us
of a
would-
recycling, you know? People get corrupt, they die off or
I
they're
think
pruned
so,
away,
yeah. I
new
think that's
people
what
shoot
happens,
up.
yeah.
And
Well, I hope so. I live in Amsterdam for 45 years, and it's a cyclic process. Let's say if you would come here, when I came in the beginning of the 70s, it was nice. If you would come here in the 80s, it would be a horror. And let's say now it seems like things pop up again. So I'm happy about that, that's one. And the second is there are many locations here in Amsterdam. I'm even surprised that the new locations pop up. I didn't know. We were with Mike last week in the location in West, Slotervaart, and there is a whole center with a number of groups and artists. So I've never heard about that. And believe me, I guess I know pretty many places. There is another one popping up in Krokuskade. I didn't know about that. So there are a lot of places that pop up. But if you look, for example, at NDSM, it was a wonderful place, and now it's commercialized. So some locations go down, other pop up. So that's how the life is, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy about Amsterdam that there are these opportunities. The challenge again, I think, is that at least with a number of locations that are not yet corrupted, as you call it, I wouldn't say it's corrupt, but okay, you may call it.
we may use strong.
You may use.
We're looking for language to describe
Yeah.
things that change cyclically. Like oral was brilliant, and now it costs you €100
Well,
to
you know,
buy a piece of toilet paper.
My friend is Johan Nijmeijer as well, and he makes, in your words, corrupting films.
No.
I wouldn't
It
call
is
him
just a
corrupt.
process. It's
Okay?
like punk began because people had no money. They put on plastic bags,
Well, I don't know.
and then a few years later, it's on the
Never
counter.
mind. Never
Well,
mind.
this is a perfect moment to draw the discussion to a close. You know, we're really far along. Keep it short and sweet. I'm going to give each.
Yeah.
Michael.
I'd just like to say, if people are interested to continue this discussion, we must continue the discussion.
What about donations? I mean, does it work? If you put a head here, does nobody throw anything in? Or
Who gets that though? If there's 10 performers
yeah,
and
you just do
organisers and
the one
someone
for,
behind
two
the
for.
bar.
No, I don't know.
Well, if you put a head here and you throw something in, it will go to the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, and you
No,
want-
that's
what
just
about
like
the
a-
electricity?
That was a joke. That was a lame joke, but I'm not getting paid for
Well,
this.
pay for the
I'm only
power.
making lame jokes. We are still very sincerely drawing to a close. So I totally agree with you, Michael. I mean, keep the discussion alive. Wherever, whenever you can or want, maybe you're gonna have a chance to grab a beer with any of these three interesting people tonight, or maybe at some other point.
Of course.
Do visit the Free Fringe, and who knows who you'll bump into, and start a good discussion. A love affair, I don't care, as long as it's free. I'm going to give each three of you a last sentence, a final sentence, and it must be something for the audience to chew on. Something they will dream of.
Who wants to go first?
So,
Ladies first.
Ladies
That's
first.
nice. You're the host, you go first.
To the worm, there is no underground.
oh my goodness. Oh, applause. I would just like to repeat, I don't know why you all came tonight, but I'm very happy you came. Please, tell us what you're up to. And I am, at this time, programming all the time with new, young, fabulous artists and older artists as well. There's no gender or age difference. I love the mixture of old and young. It's the most creative. If you have ideas, we are open for taking people on. And thank you again to all of these lovely people who stand up tonight, and these fantastic artists who are going to do performances. There's theatre coming.
It's a very long sentence. Straight from the heart. Straight from the heart. Yoram.
I'll be nearly as short as you, I hope. I would say keep going in different ways, making free Fringe, or whatever you call it, instead of getting into discussions what is exactly free or non-free, because that doesn't bring us far.
I wish to thank the three of you. One round of applause. Thank you very much. You're welcome. We're going to do a short change of scene. You're going to watch a very most interesting play